Call to order of the Raymond Zoning Board of Appeals for May 22nd of 2017. The first thing is the approval of the minutes from the September 28th to 15. Should be 2/16, shouldn't it? 15?
10:15, Mark.
Meeting.
Yeah.
Do I hear an approval of that? Do I hear?
I move that we table approval of the minutes to give the members time to read them.
Okay.
And just a point of clarification, Larry, before you came in, Mary gave us, we actually have draft minutes for September 28th, October 13th, and October 19th.
Okay.
That will, to Steve's
Yeah.
point, we'll table to approve at the next meeting, so people have
All
time
right.
to go through them.
Okay, we'll table that.
I second your motion to table.
Thank you.
We need to vote.
And then the next one, now are we at the application of Stephen J. and Andrea M. Curtis? Would either of you stand up and tell us what you want to do?
The podium, please.
Well, this property was used as a vacation place for the 30 years we've owned it. And we decided that we'd rather live there, and we moved in last June, almost a year ago. And it's a very small building, and you can see from one of those drawings there that the actual setbacks, where it doesn't leave much room to do anything. So we were planning to add an addition on the side, I guess that's what, south? South, yeah. And a two-car garage to give us a little more room to live there. That's about all we're doing. And I don't have one of those neat little books. They told me I had to make 8 of them, so I made 8. And I didn't care.
You need to refer to it.
I've got the,
You got the big sheets.
yeah, good. The one I was referring to is the one that has the maps tab on it. It's a pink, long skinny rectangle is what would be allowed if the lot was vacant with no buildings on it. And the green one is what would be allowed because of the grandfathered setbacks. And we need the variance we're applying for is on the left-hand side of the page at 20 foot. We want about 6 more feet to get the two-car garage in there. And the guy next to us on lot 35, that's Nancy Cobb and Jerry Cobb, and they've got a letter in the back saying that they've seen the plans and it's okay with them.
So can I ask you, that would be your reduction, is the 5 feet,
8 feet.
6 feet,
6 feet?
yeah.
So that it would make it needs to be 20 feet?
Yeah, so it'd be what, 14? Or,
Yes, that would make it 14 feet.
We have it as 12.
yeah, 12, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
an 8-foot reduction.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the lot plan here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
12 feet. And that shed on that lot plan, that's been moved already. Gone. Gave it to my niece.
And I think the front setback is,
30 feet, I think.
it's less than the current situation, is that correct?
What's that?
The front setback, your new addition's gonna be less than the
Yes,
current state of how close you are on the front.
yes, it is.
I don't think so. I thought the front corner of the camp was only about 15 feet from the road.
Right, and this is farther back, so it's less of a reduction.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
need more of a reduction than what you already
No.
have, is that correct?
No.
Right.
We do have on the roadside, there's a little porch and steps there that are, they're gonna be removed also. They would be closer to the road than the building is, but they're going away anyway.
Okay.
Over here somewhere. No, there it is,
Yeah, they're right there,
right there.
yeah.
Okay.
And this is already within 16 feet, and the new addition is 17, so you're
Yeah.
already,
They're okay.
yeah. It's not more non-conforming than current state.
Can I
No.
ask you,
No issue.
this lot 36, 37, and 38, have they been combined into one lot?
Yes. Before we bought it, that was all one lot when we bought it in 1978.
Can I ask if any members of the board, do they have any questions or any concerns they would like to clear up?
Joanne, do you want to talk about paperwork?
Yeah,
And explain to Mr. Curtis the thing about revising the request?
oh, we can't, just something that was noted. I know this has come up before when you filled out the paperwork, that you had filled it out for a variance. I ran through the same thing myself way back, and you don't need a variance. All you need is a setback reduction. So even though you filled out a bunch of the paperwork in the beginning of your application for variance criteria, we're ignoring that because it's not something that comes into play here. It's confusing in the application. I know Chris is going to look into clearing that up for people so that they understand the difference between a variance and a setback reduction. So we're just focusing on setback reduction.
Okay.
That's all you guys need. You don't actually need a variance to,
There's a big difference in the approval process between a variance request and a setback reduction. The variance request is much more strict, and I would suggest that you talk to Chris about just redoing the application so it's clear from the first page through all of the documentation that you're asking for a setback reduction.
Good. I'll do that tomorrow. Is he here tomorrow?
No, he is still being trained tomorrow. He'll be in Wednesday.
Okay.
and my understanding from Chris's memorandum is that you guys, with the addition, you're not any closer to the water than you are now. Is that correct?
That's true.
Okay.
Including the deck.
Yes.
Okay.
So for all intents and purposes, we have a single question, and that question is changing from a 20-foot setback to a 12-foot setback, and I guess our first finding can be that we are authorized to approve as little as 10 feet, so.
Yeah, what I thought, if there's no more questions, right, from Mr. Curtis, he can sit down and we can go through the discussion.
Right.
Exactly. That's where you're heading, Eldon, to the
Yep.
discussion of what, the points that are relevant to this.
Okay.
Oh, Pascal, they're down on your street.
Right down the road, yeah. Mr. Chairman, I was just gonna, as a point of discussion, just walk through, because this is a setback reduction in the shoreland zone, we just need to refer ourselves to Section 16G appeals. 2, under variance appeals is F, looking at minimum setback requirements. So any of us that have our book on page 54. Says the Board of Appeals may grant reductions from the minimum setback requirements set forth in Section 15A of these provisions according to all of the following criteria. And the current state reductions that that normally exist, as you know, on the front is a 30-foot front setback, 20 foot on the side setback, and we're all set as far as the waterfront. It's 30 in the rear usually, 100 from the high water mark. So one is setback reduction appeals are only available to reduce minimum requirements for setbacks of structures from lot boundary lines. Setback reduction appeals shall not be used and are not available from bodies of water as provided in this provision. I think Eldon, would you all agree that's fine? Like Eldon pointed out, we're okay on the water side, we're just looking at the side setback.
Right.
Setback reduction appeals may only be granted and are only available for lots with a residential dwelling as the principal structure. That's the situation we have here. The Board of Appeals may grant a setback reduction appeal if the board finds that granting the setback reduction will not result in unreasonable interference with the privacy interests of the abutting landowners. There's a nice letter from the Cobbs. Yep, in there saying that they approved of this. 4, in granting a setback reduction, the Board of Appeals may attach reasonable conditions which it may deem necessary to serve the purposes of these provisions. That's something to keep in mind if anyone sees the necessity to do so. 5, setback reduction appeals shall not be granted to enable construction or renovation that will create additional dwelling units. This is
There are no.
one unit.
One single-family home.
A setback reduction appeal shall not be granted to enable construction or renovation that will result in more than one garage on the lot that is the subject of the appeal. There's only one garage. No setback reduction appeal may be granted that will result in impervious surface lot coverage of greater than 15%. And I know I did the calculations last time and they align with, which we'll read after this, Chris's memo. And he says in that the lot coverage for the existing proposed addition calculates to 10%. So we're under the 15%. Setback reduction appeals may only be granted the minimum extent necessary to accomplish the purpose of the appeal. Setbacks may not be reduced by setback reduction appeal to less than the following absolute minimum setbacks. Front 15, side 10, rear 15. And I think, as you said, we're down to 12 on the side, so we haven't
So we're
gone
within-
beyond the 10. So, I don't know, Larry, do you want to read the memo that Chris,
I've got one.
that Chris added to this?
The only setback, the only violation that we're discussing is to go down to the 14,
To the 12.
12, to the 12 on that side, everything
20
else.
to 12.
Yeah,
And the neighbors don't have any objection to it.
Correct.
Do I hear a motion?
should we read for the record Chris's memo, or?
Yes, we should.
Well, or we can move to be entered into the record. One or the other.
We could have it entered into the book.
You want to read it?
I'll read it quick if you want.
Okay.
This is from Chris Hansen, Code Enforcement Officer, to the members of the zoning board. This is regarding the application of Stephen and Andrea Curtis at 55 Haskell Ave, Raymond. The history, Mr. and Mrs. Curtis have applied for reduction from the minimum setbacks. And he's noting Article 6D, which is the same provisions, just we're looking at the zoning provisions of the land use ordinance. Their property at 55 Haskell Ave is Zone LRR1, and the setbacks required are as follows: 30 feet front, 20 feet sides, 30 feet rear, and 100 feet from the high water mark. A survey has been provided, and the proposed building has been cited on the plan by Flynn Land Surveying, LLC. The Curtises are requesting a reduction from the 20-foot side setback to 12 feet on the side abutting Jerry and Nancy Cobb, and that was, like you said, the left on that plan. The Cobbs have provided a written statement that they have no objection to the reduction. The proposed addition would be no more non-conforming for the rear setback to Haskell Ave and no more non-conforming to the high water mark of Crescent Lake. Lot coverage for the existing and proposed addition calculate to 10%. 15% lot coverage is allowed in LRR1. The board should go through Article 6D. Again, we're referring to the shoreland zone of 16G to F. Reductions from minimum setbacks, section 1 through 8. I believe all the requirements have been met by the applicants and recommend the board consider approving the application after discussion and any public comment. And he's off at training, so he could not attend. And just, maybe I need to correct what I said on 7, no setback reduction appeal may be granted that will result in impervious surface lot coverage of greater than 15%. We're well under that, but just wanted to correct it, because I think Eldon, you had a good point about area, how much could be buildable versus the impervious coverage, so that's fine as well, so.
Well,
Would someone like to make a motion?
I move that the Curtis's request for setback requirement reduction be approved.
I second.
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 All in favor, say aye. You have it.
So, there being no members, other members, uninterested members of the public here, we shall not pause for public
Should
comment.
have asked if they wanted to speak.
I thank you very much. You're,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
are there any appeals coming next month?
Nothing that we're aware of.
And when is the deadline?
I believe it is Wednesday of this week.
This went, so, okay, so they got to
We've
tomorrow,
heard nothing, so
tomorrow
I
and
can say-
Wednesday and nothing. All right.
You guys can leave if you want or stay, it's totally your call.
Are these appeals for this thing here, the deadline is Wednesday?
Your deadline?
Yeah.
No.
No. No, this is just any new
No.
ones.
You're all
You're all
set.
You're all
You
set.
can go.
You're done.
all set.
Yeah. When you get the order, you leave quickly.
That's it. When you hear the word approved, it's out the door.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. All right. There, we probably should-
Mary,
This is a new,
what's our building permit activity? Is this going to be an active
This is a
summer?
new application, someone to be
All
on the zoning
Ah.
board.
Patricia B,
And
yeah?
we're looking at some interesting projects other than that, but yeah, the building permits are starting to roll in, or the applications are rolling in. So I think it's gonna be a busy summer.
Yeah,
Things are picking up.
the market certainly seems to be.
You mean there are more applications for building and?
Yes.
And so,
I think, yeah, just Larry, we should,
Oh, we
last
should
thing,
act,
yeah.
right. Now,
Yeah.
do we act on this, please complete this one with respect to town clerk, which she has, or I take it, and Board of well, she wants to be on the Board of Assessment Review or Planning Board, but,
She has appeared before the planning board. She has been approved by the selectmen, so she's now on the planning board. But she's also very interested in being on the Board of Appeals.
okay, so where do we stand on members now? Are we the four?
This is it.
this is it.
the Four Musketeers.
Lyndon, are you still with us?
I am
You're
tonight.
down on Crescent Lake,
Right.
on the other side. So we've got the 4, but we need 5.
Yes.
So she wants to be on the board. Do we approve it, or do they just
Who is this?
Yeah,
appoint
do you have
it?
copy, can we?
Yeah.
Oh, let me share these,
Yeah, give him that.
Do we have,
I was always, just, Louise would just call up and say, come down here,
Is it still, the procedure that they have to appear before us?
That
Is
is
it-
my understanding.
Okay,
That they would appear before you, you can quiz them, vet them, and then if you approve, then move it on to the Board of Selectmen.
so this is this more of an FYI, and then we just say, sure, have them come appear before us? As soon
Normally, I
as-
would have had this on the agenda and so
Yeah.
on, but we just got the okay to do this
Right,
last.
So that would be on the agenda for the next time we meet?
International
Yes,
Vernacular and
but
Regional
Since you
Foundation.
don't meet very
Right.
often, there's a question of how would we proceed from here to get her moving along the process. which I'm
Oh,
not
she
sure
should
how
have come
we do that.
tonight.
well, it happened very quickly.
As I was
so,
walking
yeah.
out the door Thursday
Oh.
afternoon,
Okay.
I don't feel the need that we interview her. I mean, if she's
If she wants to do it, yeah.
interested in civic involvement,
I don't either, I just didn't know if it's a procedure they're saying we have to follow, or,
we can just make a motion to recommend her
okay.
to the Board of Selectmen.
I would prefer to do that, frankly, because there's some training involved for her
Yeah.
And the way our schedule's been going, it could be months before we have another meeting.
Yeah.
And I'd hate to delay that long and then
She has
ask.
attended the MMA course
Okay.
on
She
For
has-
planning board and.
Boards and,
Board of
yeah, yeah.
She has attended that already.
Yes.
Oh, well,
Then I think she's ready to come.
And
I can make a
and
motion.
she's a member of the planning board now. Right, because we don't hear appeals from the planning board, it's okay for her
anymore.
to sit on this.
All right, I'll make a motion,
yeah.
I'll make a motion that the zoning board of appeals recommend to the selectmen that this candidate to be approved for membership.
second.
All in favor? Aye.
I guess pending any reason why they say we have to do it
Yeah,
differently.
yes,
But,
Okay.
yeah,
friendly amendment.
Yeah, I'll accept the amendment.
a friendly amendment, I'm sorry.
Can I ask, have you heard anything from what we did that last time down on Raymond Cape where they wanted to put in the parking lot and thing?
There is nothing happening with that right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have heard absolutely nothing,
Okay.
From any of the sides.
any of the sides. From what I have heard, they are no longer considering it. They are looking at other options.
The filing, yeah, okay.
So that's been put to rest for the time being.
Interesting.
Then do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
So moved.
All in
Second.
favor?
Second, and
We have adjourned.